Now entering Nerdist.com.
Tonight, I'm genuinely wondering if my guest is some kind of powerful wizard who can shapeshift as well. She just finished 5 seasons of the hit show Orphan Black, where she played Sarah Manning, a woman who learns she's a clone after witnessing her doppelganger commit suicide by jumping in front of a train. She then discovers there are a lot of clones out there. Plus, spoiler alerts, she plays every single clone on the show. And her range and talent is unbelievable and spectacular. Her fans are absolutely psyched that she won the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama last year. She also has a new movie called Stronger that she's going to tell us about. Tonight, Tatiana Maslany will be talking with Chris Hardwick. On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook using @Talking. I'm going to read your questions and comments. We're going to look at some video messages. We're going to give things away. I have a crate full of stuff to give away for people who ask questions. Our studio audience, by the way, is like legit 100% Tatiana Maslany fans. Like there's no seat fillers. There's no rando who's like, I just want to get in from outside. Just came in, didn't know what they were here to see.
Right.
I mean, your show has such an incredible following and such a loyal, passionate audience. And I remember when I did the Nerdist TV show for BBC America like four years ago or something. It was just the first season of Orphan, and it was getting going. So, congratulations on everything.
Thanks.
And how has it been now that you're kind of, now that it's all wrapped up?
It's surreal because it's been 5 years of my life that have been completely dedicated to Orphan Black. Like even when I'm not working, I'm kind of talking with the producers about what the next season's going to be, or just dreaming about it, or whatever, or meeting Clone Club, or all those things that we get to do. So it's pretty all-consuming.
Now, when you go to a movie and you're like, wait, there's just one of me in this? Like, is it weird? Like this, it honestly, Orphan Black kind of feels like weight training with weights attached to all of your limbs right. And then running on a treadmill, because I feel like it's probably about as emotionally exhaustive as a job could be. Yeah, and mentally horrible, because I couldn't sleep the first season. Every day when we would wrap, I would go home and kind of, I'm sure I've said this before, but dream in character, because it was so many switches during the day. We'd start as one character for 2 scenes, then I'd have to go hair, makeup, change into the next character, do totally different scenes, totally different storyline, dialect, all that stuff. So it was just kind of always in my body, that kinetic switching. Yeah, and also just keeping track of, what idiosyncrasies does this character have? Is this consistent with is there like a script supervisor going, oh no, she's left-handed or she's right-handed? Yeah. Or are you keeping track of all that? I mean, I eventually it became second nature, but in the first season it was all about kind of the musculature of remembering who did this, none of them did any of these things. Who did this versus this, hey, everybody, I'm this clone. Yeah. Who wants to have a good time? That one got cut immediately. Right away. Yeah, they're like, we don't buy this. So long, everybody. Just walk through the back of frame. So there was help, for sure. Good. But they're written so differently, and they're, very, very different kind of archetypes of characters that you've seen. So it's not like they're so close to each other that it would slip. Yeah. This might be a tough question to answer because you're so close to it, but what is it for you that you think resonates so well with people and so much? Because it really, there is such a fan community around this show that's so loyal to you and loyal to the show, and what is it specifically that you attribute that to? I don't know. We've talked to people, and for different reasons they really relate to the characters or the situations or whatever. I think we're talking about things that are kind of topical in terms of autonomy and women's voices and women's bodies and reproductive rights and things like that. But then I think also just kind of on a base level, for me, I'd never read so many bizarre weirdos in a script before. Yeah. People who I got to play a woman never gets to play Helena. Helena's the like serial killer Ukrainian psychopath who moves from that to very domesticated, like trying to be a housewife to, to killing people again. Like I've never seen that character before.
Right.
I think there's something about getting to watch bizarre weirdos do stuff on camera that I am excited about,
Right.
That I didn't see necessarily growing up and go, oh, I relate to that woman, or yeah.
So there's a clone for everyone, basically.
Yeah.
The show.
You don't like
relates.
One, you can maybe like another.
Yeah, it's like
this one or this
exactly.
one.
Exactly. It's like but you are the central. I mean, all of these characters are swirling around in your head somewhere, and I'm always interested to hear actors like when they come home at the end of the day, and you sort of touched upon it a little bit, and like, well, how do you wash off the residue of that character? But how do you wash off the residue of like 11 characters at the end of a day?
I don't think I ever figured it out. I really didn't, because it was always hard to not be stressed. It was an all-consuming thing. I think I'm only now that it's done kind of being like, oh, right, this is what sleeping is like. And like having maybe one thought, or I have one thought at a time now.
And not what 11 different people.
Yeah.
I was kind of and then seeing the fans rally around you when it came time to Emmy nominations, because the previous, I think maybe it was the previous year, they didn't recognize the show, and then fans were like, what the fuck, Emmys?
Right.
And
we can say that?
Yeah. And to their credit, I was really impressed that the Emmys didn't respond to just the show with the highest marketing budget. Like, they really did respond to you, and you got a very well-deserved award. So, I mean, when that was happening, like the previous years, you're like, all right, guys, come on, let's take it easy.
Yeah.
Did you ever think like, oh wow, they really are they're gonna recognize the show that's on this network on cable?
Yeah, no, never. I mean, I thought it was bizarre that people were like, this should have happened. I was like, what, guys? No, like this is I don't know if it's a kind of inferiority complex coming from Canada, but we're just like happy to have a job. I was just happy to work, and I was happy to work on something that I cared about and that people liked it. You don't really think about those other things. And then when Clone Club was so adamant that it happened, that was nice. Like that was the thing that was nice about it.
Yeah, but it is still nice for you to be like, oh, thanks for this award. Suck it, Game of Thrones. Suck on this.
Yeah. We've always had this harsh battle. The entire cast of
Rivalry.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
Thrones and clones.
Yeah, Clones and
There it is. Throne Club and Clone Club.
Yeah,
just going at each other one at a
One
time.
must reign
They got
supreme.
dragons, but there's 1,000 of you. So,
Exactly.
That'd be really cool.
It would not. We would die so quickly. We'd be eaten, I assume.
Yeah.
I've never seen Game of Thrones.
You've never seen Game of Thrones?
Guys, don't.
All right. You know what? Don't.
Sorry, don't
totally
leave.
Fine. It's great.
I'm sure it's awesome. It sounds perfect.
Super fun show. Well, now you'll have some of your life back. You'll be able to watch stuff like that. Listen, if you like dragons and boobs, it is. It is a show.
With dragons with boobs?
Dragons with boobs.
Perfect.
Dragons near boobs.
Yeah. Pointing at boobs.
Yeah. Just like lighting on fire. But these types of fandoms, and we're so much a part of. They're so much a part of our culture now that it's interesting to me that shows like Orphan Black or shows like Game of Thrones, they're really almost like pop culture is almost the new religion in a sort of way. People are aligning so much with.
Yeah, and I mean, what's cool about the fans of Orphan Black is that they seem to, the way that they see themselves reflected in the characters changes the way they are able to be themselves in life, which is completely mind-blowing, as an actor to see the story you're telling have that kind of influence. Like women who are 40 years old to young women who are just, like in high school or whatever, but they come up to us and say that seeing Cosima or seeing Felix has given them the confidence to talk to their parents about being gay or just be themselves and love who they love. And that, making friends in Australia from, like,
Minnesota? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Was that a Minnesota accent?
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Wasn't it great?
It was good. It's very close to Canadian, by the way.
Yes, that's why it's easy.
So close. Yeah.
But, you know, making friends across the world like that because of Clone Club and finding this kind of community, it's incredible that that's possible.
Then it must have been... I mean, I you know, as a performer, I'm sure you want to evolve and you want to do different things, and so, but it is hard to, and not only is it hard to let characters go, but I'm sure it's like, shit, it's really hard to let a job go because you never know. So, what were some of the emotions that you were feeling when you knew like this is going to be the last season, we're going to do this, and like, what was your thought like when they yelled cut, wrap, that's it?
Oh God! Well, at that point, I mean, we were working on some extremely emotional scenes in that last episode and kind of had been saying goodbye to actors or clones for 2 weeks leading up to it, you know, saying goodbye to the kind of main cast or a set that meant something to us. So it was just, we were all dry. We were very dry. Like we were crying the whole time for 2 weeks. And then when it happened, I think we were all kind of stunned. And John Fawcett, one of the creators of our show, came out and was just like, we were all looking at each other and he just went, I just want to hang out with you guys. I just want to stand here, like, with you guys. And it was just like, that's all we wanted to do because it was kind of, nobody wanted to leave. We didn't want to step away from this amazing job, you know?
Yeah, the entertainment business is really this sort of like, it's you're being in the business of like transient families where it's like you come together and then you experience all these emotions and your brain doesn't always know that they're fake.
Yeah,
because you're feeling them,
totally.
You know, and so you feel them, and you have this really intense, and you're just supposed to be like, okay, bye. I hope I see you again at some time in my life.
Yeah, and it's this bubble. Like I always talk about these bubbles of shooting a film or these bubbles of shooting a TV series because you kind of don't see the world, the rest of the world, while you're filming. You're like 4 months in a studio, so these people you see them more than you see your family, and you connect with them, like you said, like you experience these highs and lows and these emotions that are, you know, personal and also like generated or whatever, but you kind of believe all of it and you really do like fall in love with each other. So it's a weird thing to step away from it for sure.
And I also think it's great that your first really, really, really big thing was a drama, mainly because I know you have a comedy background. I know there's comedy in your background, and I think it's so much easier. I think when you come out as a comedian and you go, I want to play a dramatic role, they're like, over in the circus clown, you know? But once you start with drama and then people find out, oh, you actually have this really strong comedy background too, I just feel like it creates so many options for what you want to do next.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, improv was always the thing. I did it since I was 8 or 9 years old in different incarnations. And it's the best warm up. It's the best skill kind of building situation. It is acting at its kind of purest form, I think. Yeah. And sort of has always come into like all the work I do. But yeah, I've kind of only ever played dramatic characters. Like I've done improv and been able to explore comedy that way. But then when I get on screen, they're like, you have to do this monologue about how someone abused you. Like that was my whole career up until Orphan Black. And then I got to play women.
And then you got to play a lot of them.
Yeah.
So do you know, now that because you're doing really big movies now, and it sort of seems like you could do pretty much whatever you want. Do you feel that way, or do you feel like, no, that's a whole other uphill battle?
No, I mean, even doing Stronger was just such, you know, I did the same process that I would do for anything, which was send in a tape of an audition that I taped with Christian Brune, who plays Donnie on the show, and then went in and did a screen test with Jake and was just like thrilled to be playing opposite him for an hour, even though it wasn't, you know, on screen or anything, just to get to work opposite an actor like that who I admire so much. It never feels like I feel safe here or comfortable. Like I belong here. I'm always just
This is
major
Jake
fraud.
Gyllenhaal, the movie Stronger, which is about the Boston bombing. But I wonder. See, I feel like I'd be arrogant in your shoes because if someone was like, send in a tape, I'd be like, hey, watch an episode, pick a fucking character. Which one do you want? You know, like it seems. You're like, okay, I'll go in and I'll audition. I mean, are you comfortable with the audition process?
I love auditioning.
Wow, that's such an amazing thing to hear, because I think it is dreadful.
It's horrible, but I think that's what's kind of fun about it, is that I've done it for so long, and I've gone through so many shitty auditions and so many really fun auditions that, I don't know, for me now, I look at it as just a chance to play. Just a chance to, because I think it's always about the casting director. You're always like, oh, it's their room.
Yeah.
But it's an actor's room, really. You know, there shouldn't be that weird power.
I guess that's
imbalance.
true.
Like, it's your chance, like, they're excited to find you if you're the right person.
Well, that's a very healthy way to think about it. You know? But it's just, you know, when you walk into a room and it's something you really want, and it's all the insecurities come squishing into the room with you, and you can't. It's just like it's just getting your brain out of the way to be able to just do the work that you're there to do.
I'm just flashing back to this horrible audition I did for Disney, where it was. And I'm such a cartoon nerd. Like, I'm crazy about cartoons. And this was my chance to audition for a Disney cartoon.
Right.
But when I got there, I assumed you'd be in a booth.
Uh-huh.
But it was literally like this. Like, I was sitting, like, in a chair across from two people in another chair. And had to do voices. But I was so embarrassed that I just kind of read it and was just really quiet and dull. And then they're like, okay, did you prepare a song? And then I thought it would be funny to do the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
What is it? The one? Yeah. No, not Under the Sea. I wish it was that. Oh. That's Sebastian.
Oh, that's Sebastian. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's
the one where she's like wishing to have
I wish
legs.
I had legs.
Part of your world. I wish I had legs.
World.
I think it's I wish I had legs.
I wish I had legs. Yeah.
But I stood up to sing I Wish I Had Legs and didn't look at them, or I started looking at them and then I was like, this is weird, and then I looked up and then just sang really shittily up at the wall. And they were like, thank you so much, that was fantastic, and out the door. It was horrible.
I wish I had legs!
Yeah. Still wish I had legs, yeah.
What is your, I mean, I'm a huge animation nerd. I took it in college, and
really?
I collect cells.
Yeah.
So I have cells. So what are some of your animation?
Well, Futurama is like the thing.
Those motherfuckers, they didn't do any but on cells.
No,
they
exactly. You can't have
it's all
it.
Computer, yeah.
I know. I've got a little wooden Professor Farnsworth that my brother got.
Good news.
Yeah. Home movies.
Yep.
Do you know that
Brendan
one?
Small, yeah. It's my buddy Brendan Small.
Metalocalypse.
Yeah. Also Brendan, yeah.
You know, what else? BoJack.
Yep. BoJack Horseman. Yep. Well, Canada has a really amazing, like, so many great animated pieces have come out of Canada because you guys have a fund the arts program.
Yeah, we like the arts.
Which is a crazy idea. Who would do such a thing?
I don't know.
Like the National Film Board.
Yeah.
The National Film Board in Canada has, like, I think one of my favorite animated things of all time is called The Cat Came Back, which is which is a Canadian.
That used to terrify me.
It's fantastic. Have you guys seen it?
It's dark.
It's dark and amazing. So look it up. It's on your local internet.
Yeah.
The Cat Came Back.
Did you ever see The Big Snit?
The Big Snit, yeah, of course.
I think my favorite short of all time is The Big Snit.
They're so good.
It's so good, yeah.
Canada is such a wealth of artistic. I mean, I know you're from Saskatchewan.
You didn't have to give it 3 A's at the end. Saskatchewan.
You're from Saskatchewan. Which is a delightfully funny name that you think like, oh, well, that couldn't get any sillier. And then, then your hometown, oh, wait till you hear Regina.
Yeah.
So what is happening in Regina, Saskatchewan?
Well, that was great, really good.
Oh, thanks. Oh, I'm sorry I said it wrong.
No, you did really well. I'm sorry for correcting you.
I'm sorry.
I'm really sorry.
I'm really sorry. Go out for
lots of apologizing is happening in Regina. Lots of, I don't know, there's great art in the community because I think everybody's kind of surrounded by a lot of space and time.
Yeah.
Space and time exists there.
I feel like we all have that in common. We
really?
share space
I don't
and time.
think so.
Okay, well, you seem very...
Those are two dimensions that only exist in Saskatchewan.
I'm not 100% sure that's accurate. Might be, though. Might be.
It
you
is.
might be right.
It is.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay, good.
I grew up there, so.
Okay. I've never been there, so I can't say.
It's just fields. There's a lot of fields. There's a lot of Canadian goose. What? There's a lot of Canada geese.
Yeah, gooeyes.
Gooeyes.
I think gooeyes is the Canadian product.
Yeah. You just add an oo to everything.
To everything, yeah.
And then, what else?
all man-made lakes.
Okay.
So none of the lakes in Regina are natural.
I know women-made lakes.
Sorry, I'm sexist.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I've internalized misogyny so hard. Women don't go near our lakes because of the goose.
Oh, the goo.
They're scared of them.
The gooeys are very gooey and scary.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm sorry. I'm just. You didn't say that. I'm sorry. That's really funny. That was really funny. Your show is such a statement on gender relations in our culture. There's this undertone of it the entire time. Was that something that you saw from the get-go, or something that you feel like, as it started to breathe and evolve, that developed?
Yeah, I think it started to develop because I'm sure John and Graham had it in their heads that they knew they were telling stories that were kind of about women because they had women at the center of it. But for me, I was just excited to see that, and I didn't realize the ramifications. I didn't kind of take in that we were actually talking about the way that women's bodies are owned by corporations, whether that's kind of in the media in terms of images that are put out there.
Sure.
The way they're used to sell things, the way we don't have ownership over our reproductive rights. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So it became very apparent that we were telling that story and that we couldn't not do it. And especially in this last season, because we were like shooting it while the world was exploding.
Right.
Three episodes in, it happened.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm talking about happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Some nights there. Yeah.
So many things
It could have been
happen.
this, it could have been that.
This could be that. Could be another man-made lake. We don't know.
But yeah, so I think then it really reinforced that we had to continue to tell this story of kind of chopping off the head of the patriarchy a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
A little bit, like I'm saying it like such an apology, but yeah.
No.
Cutting
I
its
feel like
head
that's
off.
more the Canadian.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more of the Canadian.
It's also a woman thing, though, yeah.
But, because you've worked on a show like this that has, such an undercurrent of something that's relevant, and do you feel weird just taking like a frivolous job? Like, does every job feel like, it really has to have some sort of a deep, meaning or a message or something that's important for you to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of spoiled me in that sense because I was like very used to just sort of doing jobs and happy to have a job. But then after doing Orphan Black and seeing how the stories we tell do affect people and change people's minds about things and can change politics even, can influence the world.
Yeah.
I just became aware of what images I was putting out there. But at the same time, I think it's important to continue to follow the artistic flow and the kind of curiosity as opposed to maybe the morally right or wrong thing to do. Because I think as soon as I start making decisions just based on my politics, then I become something that isn't an artist, I think.
Right. Because there's a definite skew and a motivation to everything you do that might not make you open to certain types of...
Totally. Like, revealing that we aren't all totally emancipated and we aren't all strong female characters, whatever that is. I think that there's a real pressure on women to be, like, tough as fuck now.
Right.
And it's like, well, sure, that is a part of us, but I think anytime you sort of minimize an experience to one way of being, you're actually diminishing it, even if it is a positive.
Sure, because
thing.
you're automatically shutting out other options at the same time.
Yeah, totally.
What do you think you're going to miss the most about the show?
The characters, like I'm gonna miss not only the clones that I get to play, but playing opposite these awesome actors that I get to work with who are so much fun and who we have all these different dynamics with. Whether I'm Allison and playing opposite Donnie or Helena playing opposite Donnie, it's a totally different thing. Felix and Sarah was such an important relationship. I'm going to miss all of them. It's going to be sad.
Did you take a break after you finished,
Yeah.
or did you immediately go and start working on something else?
I didn't. This was the first year I didn't do that, because the year prior I did Stronger right after, and the other year I did 2 movies back to back.
Oh, you did?
Like an idiot, yeah. And then a dummy. But this year I went to Costa Rica and I hung out with some sloths.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Sloths.
What type of? Thank you for saying sloths.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
What is the? What part of Costa Rica did you go to?
We went to La Fortuna,
Okay.
Montezuma, and Park Manuel Antonio.
Oh, that's fantastic. Costa Rica is such a beautiful...
It's amazing.
It's incredible. You're just like rainforest, ocean.
Yeah.
Like, it's such an incredible place.
We were near this really populated beach at one point, and...
You and all the clones.
Me and all the clones.
Yeah.
We were all holding hands in a line, running into the distance. There was this, like, river that crossed past this, like, forest, and we were going to cross through to see if we could get to this Park Manuel Antonio. And this girl started wading into the water, and then we saw a sign that said, "Do not feed the crocodiles." And we're like, oh, get out. Like, don't be in there. She's like, it's fine. I was like, where am I? What is this?
That's so funny that I remember being in a place called Playa Tamarindo, and then you could go to Cocodrillo. You know, like, you could go feed them.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, this will be fun. I'm sure this is a sanctioned, totally professional environment to feed a crocodile. And it was like a 100-year-old lady with a bag of raw chicken. And she just indicated, and it was just like outside her house.
No.
Yeah. And there was zero protection between you and Cocodrillo. Like, just at any moment, done, you know, like it's all over.
How was she? Was she okay?
She didn't have any limbs.
Right.
Heart of gold, though. You could see it. It was outside her body.
Her skin just peels back.
Peels right off. Adios. But you're...
Oh, that's so gross.
It's so gross, yeah.
It makes me want to press my skin down.
Your skin is fine.
Okay.
Your skin's fine. It's not going to come off your body. But your boyfriend Tom Cullen was on Downton Abbey.
Yes.
And you guys met on a project?
Yep, we were doing a TV series called World Without End.
Yep.
And we were in Budapest for 6 months.
Wow.
And we met. We had no scenes together because I was a lesbian nun and he was a farmer.
Sure.
So we were like, saw each other and we're like, wait a minute. Somehow we found each other in that. And we just started being buddies.
Started being buddies.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah, buddies are with the benefits.
Yeah.
You know, dating nuns is a very hard habit to break.
Yeah.
That's it, guys. Thanks for coming. No, stop it. You don't have to. You don't have to rally the crowd for my dad joke.
I love puns. I love a pun.
Puns are the best.
Yeah.
And then, so you guys went to Costa Rica together. I mean, how do you? It's always interesting to hear about how people maintain. Because I imagine you are both on opposite sides of the globe for a lot of the year.
Yeah, he's living in London and I was in Toronto. So we were long distance for 6 years.
Oh, my God.
Which was really hard.
That's incredible.
But Skype is the best.
It is. Skype is really
just
good.
Like sometimes cook together over
so sweet.
Skype and just hang out. It's really cute.
That's really cute. You're going to make eggs? I'm going to make eggs, too.
Yeah.
I'm in London. I don't have the ingredients for poutine. I don't know what to do.
He always makes fun of me because I'm like, poutines are a national treasure or whatever. And he's like, that's just chips, cheese, and gravy. And I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And? There's no end to that.
No.
I know no matter where you go, people in any town love to shame you about your tourism.
Right.
And especially in Montreal, who shames everyone about everything.
About everything,
you go to Montreal.
yeah.
But it's like, oh, you went there for poutine. That is not the place to go for poutine. You know, it's never the right place.
No.
Do you have a definitive poutinery that if... And you're not going to say it?
I do.
Oh, what is it?
It's New York fries.
Where's that?
It's like in any mall in Regina. It's like probably the worst thing you could do, but it's delicious. It's amazing.
What makes a good poutine? Is it the
squeakiness of the cheese?
Got it.
For me.
Got it.
If it squeaks, then
it's old and delicious.
No, then it's delicious.
For some reason, and whenever I would go do Just for Laughs in Montreal, they would go, if you go outside, there's like the central part where all the shows happen. They go, if you go outside that, you need to let them know that you're American and not Quebecois. And I'm like, why? Aren't they going to hate me more? And they go, they will hate you, yes, but they will hate you more if they think you're from Montreal and refuse to speak French.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that's why you always ask for, I'm American, can I have an English menu?
Oh, right.
So
you have to preface with, I'm
preface
American.
I'm American, yeah, and of course they never see you.
It's the only country in the world where you probably have to say you're American over Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's more beneficial. No offense. No offense.
Well, it was funny. I mean, I love Montreal. It's an incredible city, but I just found that wherever I went no matter what it was, there was always like, oh, don't tell anyone. Like, I just come from Toronto. Where'd you come from? Toronto. Oh, don't tell anyone that. They don't want to know. Where are you from? Los Angeles. Definitely don't tell them you're from Los Angeles. How do I make these people happy? I don't know how to make them happy. Is French-Canadian culture very prominent in Regina, Saskatchewan?
In ways. My mom is a translator, so she works in French constantly. And she put me in French immersion school.
Got it.
Where I did French improv.
What?
Yeah.
That's like American improv, but more tongue.
Yeah. Exactly. And a lot of restrictions. Don't tell them this. Don't tell them that. There's a lot of rigidity to French improv.
What is it about?
So you play it sur la glace, which means on the ice.
Yeah.
Which already puts it in a sports competitive kind of scene.
Okay.
So you've got this like delineated space, and you go up and you get. So it's like the treatment of it, which is like. You do the scene in opera, or you do it as a robot, or you do it silent, or whatever.
Sure.
And then the time, which is like 30 seconds, it's very short. Because your baby's doing it.
Got it.
This is when I was in grade 4.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry. I wasn't like
improv
43.
in 4th grade?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Canada's magic.
Canada's awesome. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So instead of doing sports and having like a healthy heart, I would do that instead. Working on my fitness.
I don't know if you've looked around America. Not everyone has healthy hearts here. Right. Did you think that comedy was something that you were going to do, or you were going to do something like that, or was it just a part of the curriculum?
It was just I just liked being on stage or on the glass. I just liked being in front of people and doing stuff.
Right. I think Sir Mix-a-Lot was the one who said put him on the glass.
Was he?
Yeah, I think he was.
I've always related so hard to Sir Mix-a-Lot.
He needed to follow up to Baby Got Back.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't hit.
Didn't hit.
No,
it did not hit. Who were some of your influences?
Growing up?
Yeah.
I liked anybody who resembled a cartoon, so it was Jim Carrey for me, for sure.
Yep.
Leslie Nielsen was a big crush.
Of course.
Rick Moranis still is.
He's
huge
amazing.
Crush.
He's making a return to acting.
What?
I heard Rick Moranis is, we had him on the podcast once, and
you did?
He was so incredible, and he was like, well, it's not that I really quit, I just lost interest in what I was being. He just wasn't really inspired by anything anymore.
Yeah, because he was kind of typecast, wasn't he?
Well, and I think also he just had things going on in his personal life that were more important, and he wanted to be with his kids.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that we're so fucked up in our culture. We're like, oh, I guess his career was ending. It was like, oh, he wanted to spend more time with his kids.
Yeah.
Okay, way to tank your career.
Yeah, totally.
He wanted to be with his family.
Totally.
What's wrong with you? I mean, have you ever met any of these people before?
No.
Well, obviously, Leslie Nielsen, unless you have a Ouija board, probably not. He's not alive.
He isn't?
Leslie Nielsen?
Why do I still think he must always be alive?
Oh, I mean, he's alive and doing another Naked Gun.
Is he here right now?
Yep, he's all over. He's everywhere.
I wish he would do another.
He's fine.
I'm so sad now.
He's fine. Don't say that in front of your fans. They're going to get mad at me for being you sad.
My biggest crush.
Yeah, you should have liked someone younger. I don't know what to tell you. That's kind of on you.
Yeah.
not even generationally.
No.
Like a generation beyond.
And like full white hair.
Yeah, complete. There's no hiding it at all.
No,
it's not. I think it's good to go white young, because then people never go.
Steve Martin.
People never go, that guy got old. They just look the same forever.
Exactly.
So Jim Carrey, Rick Moranis, and you haven't worked with Jim. You've never worked with Jim Carrey.
Not before. Jim, no.
Not Jim.
No.
I don't know him, by the way.
You sounded like you did.
No, I mean, listen, we trade recipes and we cook via Skype, but it's not a big. It's not serious.
That's so cute.
It is.
I love.
So
The Mask is I think the greatest movie of all time.
I mean.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's good. You know, I watched it. I watched it recently, and I went into it with that, and I'm like, okay, you know, because I think
hold up?
I'll tell you why. Because I think so much when he came on the scene as Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He really created this whole other aspect of comedy, and so I think there's so much that's derivative and so much that's been overplayed, but he really did originate that.
Yes.
And so I think it suffers a little bit from the fact that he sort of started a movement, and then it was
right,
and then there was just so much that was derivative of it.
I've seen that movie so many. I see that movie a few times a year.
Sure.
So it still feels like very relevant.
It's still, yeah.
I'm like, this is current day. Nothing about this is dated. I have all the same feelings, but I rewatched Ace Ventura recently. No.
There's not the same?
No, and that's when I fell in love with him, was Ace Ventura, and then I was like, sorry.
You gotta go back to the Mask.
Yeah, I gotta go back to the Mask.
I mean, are you offered any comedies?
Sometimes, and but it freaks me out actually to do it.
Really?
I think because I have such a reverence towards that world, and I'm just like, I think comedians are geniuses. I think that there's something about them that has a brain that I'm like, they would just think I'm super earnest and such a
because
nerd,
I feel like you do something that a lot of comedians can't do, which is disappear into a character. Like when you see, like all these comedians we talked about, when you see them and stuff, you go, that's Jim Carrey.
Right.
That's Leslie Nielsen. Rest in peace. That's
so sad.
that's Leslie Nielsen in that coffin. Or that's maybe
but what about like Jordan Peele?
Jordan, yeah.
Like he transforms. Like when on Key and Peele, his characters are just so detailed.
Sketch backgrounds.
Right.
Like people
Yeah.
with sketch and improv backgrounds understand like how to find the character. People with like stand-up backgrounds they are themselves like they're the comedy, like their character, the character of them.
The character of them,
is the comedy. But
for sure.
But you know, so I think a lot of these actors would look at you and go, but shit, you played all these different characters and just disappeared into them. And I think that's what most comedians, you know, like they all kind of freak out and they want to be taken seriously as they get older. But you already got that out of the way.
I got serious when I was younger.
You got serious when you were younger.
Yeah, now I'm like, stop taking me seriously.
Guys, what about this
remember
one?
this one?
It's Hansy the clone. Hey, everybody, just want to clone.
Hansy?
Hansy.
It's also like a sexual predator a little bit.
Hey, guys, let's get in the elevator. No, Hansy.
Loves dragons and boobs.
Loves dragons and boobs.
Yeah.
Loves them. When we come back, our audience members are going to get to ask questions, and we have a lot of questions for you.
Nice.
Because the fans need to know. They have a lot of questions. I have a lot of stuff to give away. If you want to be part of the show, @Talking on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you can find exclusive updates about upcoming guests. You can ask them questions that you have. No matter who we're talking to, we want you to be a part of the conversation. More with Tatiana in just a bit. We'll see you soon.
Nice.
Welcome back. We're talking to Chris Hardwick. Tatiana Maslany is here. Let's have an audience member get up and ask a question. I need to shut up and let other people have the floor. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Virginia, and I'm from Sherman Oaks, California.
Oh, what's your question?
Tatiana, as you probably know, the Donnie and Allison twerking episode is a fan favorite.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if it's also a favorite of yours.
Yes, that was a life goal that I got to check off the list. That was, we loved that way too much. We did it twice, all the way through the song. By the end, we were both like very nauseous from exertion and just so elated. It was so much fun. Yeah.
All right, I have something very special for you. You get to you get to pick. So, who would you like? Do you have a favorite?
I'm going to have to go with Helena.
All right, Helena. Wait, yeah, there she is. There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's a video message from a fan. Let's see what they have to say.
Hey, Tatiana, what's up? I'm Darian from Los Angeles, California, and my question for you is, Catherine Alexander, who is your scene partner and body double, is definitely the unsung hero of Orphan Black. What is your favorite scene with her?
That's awesome. Catherine
so Catherine plays all, I'm sure you guys know, but Catherine plays all the clones opposite me in all of the scenes where it's 6 of me talking to each other. And we're so lucky we found her because she's unbelievable. My favorite scene probably shooting with Catherine was, there's a few in season 5, which I won't talk about, but there was a scene at the end, I think, of season 3, which was Cosima and Sarah laying in bed and talking about how much they needed each other. And they're kind of talking about the tattoo and and it was the most kind of, because Catherine and my relationship is so vital to, that we're close and that we love each other, that it was very easy to say these words and mean them. Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
You thanked her in your Emmy speech.
Yeah. And she's like, she is these characters with me. She's helped create them. She improvises lines sometimes. She's totally, she has full ownership over these characters the same way as I do.
Maybe you, there was an Instagram picture of you in a Never Nude cosplay.
Oh.
I assume, there's Cross.
Yeah.
And there's,
pretty good.
So what, was this, were you cosplaying for something or just like, this just for fun?
This was Halloween.
Okay.
Which is my favorite day of my life.
Yeah.
And I just went full Never Nude because I don't know why. I don't know where it came from, what the inspiration was, but
Probably Arrested Development.
Yeah, maybe. I just found this picture of this guy online, and I was like, I'm going to be him for Halloween. But they actually blocked it on Instagram because they're like, we see nips.
What?
I was like, he's a Never Nude.
You drew him in.
Yeah, I know. They're like, nip.
No.
Also, I'd never felt more beautiful than that night. I was like, I'm hot. I felt so sexy.
Did you have the shorts?
I had the little shorts. I had a little tag that said Tobias Funke and Al Rapist on it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Did people know what it was right away? Or did you have to explain?
People knew what it was. They didn't recognize me. My friends didn't recognize me, which was like...
I'm surprised that character didn't make an appearance on Orphan Black.
He did. Handsy.
Who's it? Oh, bringing it back around.
Nude.
Can't be nude. What's your favorite Halloween costume? Was that your favorite Halloween costume?
That one was my favorite that I ever did, but my brother used to do... My brother was so into Halloween, he would build basically mascot suits for himself. My brother Daniel is a genius, and he made himself Calvin one year, which was really good. But then he also was Wilson the volleyball one year. And it was like it was a hard one. It was a hard sell, and lots of people thought he might be a radish, but he did so well. It was so good.
God damn it. I always... One year I was Luke Skywalker, Texas Ranger, which I thought was a pretty good matchup.
That's great.
So he had the hat, and then the robe, but then the belt, and then the gun. The holster had the lightsaber in it.
Right.
But I feel like I was always a kid that tried to do these complicated comedy premises as a Halloween costume, and the fail on that is that people are like, "What are you?"
Right.
And then you have to. One year I covered myself in tinsel, and then I made myself smell minty. And I don't know if you're going to get this. I don't know if you guys are going to remember this because I don't know if they still do the commercials. But we're like, "What are you?" And I go, "I'm Hall's mentholymptus vapor action."
No.
Yeah. And I had to explain it all fucking night. And I looked like an asshole every single time.
That's amazing. My best friend Tess, who's also like you, wants to do the weird thing that no one gets, but she went as a everyone got it. Everyone got it.
No, sure. Okay, thanks. All right, thanks.
She went as a Freudian slip one year.
How does that manifest?
So she was wearing a slip, and she had a little word bubble that just said, "Oops." I was like, "You're my best friend.
That's genius.
You're the greatest."
That's genius.
Yeah, it was really good.
There was my wife and I watch a lot of horror movies, and I know you were in the Ginger Snaps sequel.
Yeah.
But
Ginger Slaps Unleashed.
Unleashed.
Slaps.
Ginger Slaps.
Unleashed.
Unleashed. If I'd been on a leash, you would have got slaps. That's the whole movie. You guys know Ginger Snaps? It's sort of like a werewolf tale. Sort of. Not that kind of a tale. Not that sort of a tale.
It was a pun.
T-A-L-E.
It was a good pun.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey.
The kids love the homophones. They love them.
They do.
But I had to look when this movie was released because you look 12 and like you look very young. And then, do we have a clip from it that we can show? Oh no, we don't. We don't have the money to pay for that.
No, it's a very high budget piece. But I looked 12. I was 17 years old. I
think it was the braces too.
Yeah, they bleached my hair out. They bleached my eyebrows.
Yeah.
This was John Fawcett, who actually is one of the creators of Orphan Black.
Oh, that's great.
And our showrunner and a director on our show. And he created the Ginger Snap series and was producer on Ginger Snaps Unleashed. And he basically took me into a hallway with the other actress one day, and we worked on character. We created this weird character, Ghost, who is we find out she's a serial killer. She murdered she tried to kill her grandma.
Oh, yeah, well,
as one does.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she's like this, she lives in comic books, and she's a very bizarre little creature. And so he kind of gave me my first start at, character work.
I swear to God, if one person tweets spoiler alert after that, the movie came out in fucking 2004. You need to keep up, guys.
Yeah.
That's on you. Let's take another question from the audience. What is your name, sir?
My name's Steve. I'm from Los Angeles. And my question is which clone deserves her own spin-off and why?
I've always envisioned an Allison and Donnie Christmas special where they're hosting it in their living room and they do songs between other people doing, I don't know what anybody else would do. Helena cooking or something. I don't know. But I think that they would be served very well in that kind of format.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I have for you is elect Allison Hendricks for the We have intercepted another video message. I don't know why I said it that way, and I'll never do that
Hello,
again.
this is Rayanne from Laurel, Maryland. I have a question for you. Who is your favorite clone to play and why? Thank you.
Always try to answer this differently, but right now I'm missing Helena the most, I think, because that character is just so unlike any character I ever got to play before. And she sort of went so many different places and was sort of more of a creature than...
Yeah, no, that was...
Is she here?
I think you scared the camera operator. I need to get out of here! I need to get out of here!
Yeah, and I got to eat disgusting food as her.
That's fantastic. I just on the heels of that, the somewhat related Blue Jeans Radio on Twitter, in a zombie apocalypse, which clone would survive the longest?
I think Helena, for various reasons. I think she could take on a zombie, no problem.
Right.
She'd eat its brains.
Right.
Allison could kill a zombie. She could take its head off with various craft utensils.
And I think which clone would die first? Hansy. Because he was trying to touch all the zombies. Hey, the god!
He loses his hands first.
Yeah, hands first.
And those are his
hands
Achilles
first.
heel. Yeah.
Before we go to break, I want to let you know the extended version of this chat is available as a podcast at Nerdist. Go to amc.com/talking. You're going to get bonus clips. You're going to get exclusive content. You're going to get links to all the podcasts. Why am I so good to you? More with Tatiana Maslany in a moment. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Tatiana Maslany is our guest. This is who we were talking with. Can you tell us anything about Stronger, the Jake Gyllenhaal movie?
Yes. So it is based on the true story of Jeff Bowman, he wrote a book about his experience when the Boston Marathon bombing happened. He was waiting at the finish line for his girlfriend, and he lost both of his legs. And it's sort of about their relationship and how they survive it. It's not really about the bombing itself.
Sure.
That kind of is the sort of initiating circumstance, but it's really about how do you survive? How do relationships survive? How do you grow from this kind of trauma?
Yeah.
So it's a real fun movie.
Well, but I honestly feel like you must Orphan Black, between your improv training and Orphan Black, I would imagine you have all the confidence in the world. Like it's just in you because of what you've accomplished up to this point. So when you get onto a set, I mean, are there other people I know you worked with Helen Mirren too.
Yeah.
Was that bendy, or when you go on, are you like, no, I got this? No, not at all.
I had like one chat with her, and she's a dame, and I was like, so I'm gonna play you in a movie. Like, how do I be you? Like, just a creature next to her?
How about you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm from Regina. No, she was just so elegant, and I loved watching her work. I learned so much about stillness and kind of, I don't know, just elegance, just that kind of wisdom and that sexiness that she has from just having lived and being very confident.
Did you get to hang out with her? The movie's called Woman in Gold, by the way.
Yeah, I did. I hung out with her very briefly. She was getting her nails done.
Oh.
And which also I was just like, oh, crap. Like,
oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Hey, Ellen Mir.
Yeah. She didn't like that character.
Didn't like that character at all.
She wasn't into it.
I do like Hansy. I don't know why she talks that way.
She talks exactly
like that. That's what happens when you become a dame.
Totally.
We have another question from the audience. I think we get on up here and ask the question.
Hi. I'm John from St. Louis, and I'd love to know what other actors inspire you.
For the big one for me is Jenna Rollins. Like 10 years ago, one of my best friends showed me Woman Under the Influence, and it kind of shifted my idea of what acting could be and what storytelling could be and how powerful it could be. Jenna, like I can say that. Like Dame Rollins has like this amazing capacity to be funny and dark and like bizarre. She's just so uninhibited, and it's really inspiring to me. Yeah.
Excellent. I feel like maybe...
Oh.
Do you want a signed Orphan Black pilot script?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
That's also got... It's got like weird lines that we never did.
That has weird lines you never did?
That's like different from even the pilot that went out, because that's pre-production.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
So
that's really cool. That's a collector's item. You gotta frame that.
I want it, man.
I know. What if... I asked him, like, oh, would you like a script? And he was like, no, I want a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. To fight that guy. I already gave it to you. Let's check in with our friends from the internet. Okay, this is from Kendrick Maslany on Twitter.
I love it.
You have a son or brother or uncle.
Or a husband.
Or a husband. Could be. Or all of those things. Can we know the whole story behind the fact that you had Cosima's tattoo on your wrist at the Critics' Choice Awards?
Oh, yeah. That was just like a little nod to Clone Club, because we'd just finished... We'd shot something with Cosima, and I love that tattoo. And I don't have any tattoos, but they look cool, so I wanted to wear that and just kind of as like a, hey, guys.
Hey, how about that?
Hey, guys.
All right, I also do not have any tattoos. What's your reason for not having any?
Because the one I want is so dumb, and I'm like worried that I'm just going to regret it so deeply.
What is it?
It's this, I don't know. It's a little creature that's like this. Kind of looks like Beavis when he's got like his T-shirt
Cornholio?
on. Yeah, it's like
Cornholio?
really Cornholio. And I'm like, I don't think that's what I want branded on my body, but do I?
My question for you is, does your tattoo need TV for its bunghole?
Yeah, it does. All the time. All the time.
It makes me a
Wait, what's your reason? You never said.
Oh, it's secret. No, it's not. I think it's just a fear of commitment. It's like you go through the whole pain of it, and then, you're just like, oh, fuck, I don't want this Joey Lawrence tattoo anymore. Or whatever it is, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like I feel like it would activate a part of my anxiety of like, it's permanent, get it off me. And so that freaks me out, and I'm afraid to do it.
I don't feel like I look back on choices I made 10 years ago and go, yeah, I was cool. I was like, whoa, burn it.
Super cool.
Yeah.
In sync forever.
Forever.
A whole generation of people are going to be like, shit, what am I supposed to do with that? And also, I dated someone once who just had a very simple black arm, just like a black band tattoo. And then, whenever she would work, it was like so much makeup to cover it up. And she was like, I don't need this anymore. So she went through the process of getting it removed. And I went with her. And they were like, oh, we could probably have this in like 3 or 4 treatments. 3 years later, and 15 treatments later, and it never got less painful. And they aim the laser at it, and it just goes pop, 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 and you can smell flesh. And so I was like, I'm good. I don't need to do that.
Should we go after this right now and get full body tattoos?
Full body, yeah. Just you know what? I'm just gonna get a full body tattoo of Leslie Nielsen over my body. Let's take a couple more of these.
A face tattoo of someone else.
A face tattoo of someone else's face. Yeah. Clone Club AUS, which I think means Australia, says if Tat could go back when she landed Orphan Black and give herself advice, what would it be?
Don't eat so much sugar. I lived on licorice that first season. It was not good.
It's not good.
No, heart palpitations.
You don't feel good. Yeah, it turns out sugar has side effects.
Yeah, it's dangerous somehow.
Yeah. This is from Ali80W. Who's the better kisser, Donnie or Delphine?
Oh, guys, come on. I mean, Allison's not going to think Delphine's a great kisser, right?
I mean,
these are two different characters.
Only you know this.
Delphine to Cosima.
All right.
And Chad to Allison.
All right.
Just kidding.
I'm trying to find ones that you probably haven't been asked a million times. Nope.
No.
I should probably remove that for continuity. It's fun. It's fun to throw a card, and then you're like, someone's got to fucking deal with that,
right.
and
remove it in post.
Yeah, remove it in post.
Frame.
Yeah, this episode cost $4 million. They had to go in frame by frame. This is a good one. Heard Maslany on Twitter. Did you pick up any habits or mimics from your characters on the show? That one.
Yes,
all
that
right,
one. From the trumpet
Mouth
guy.
trumpet.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Have you ever...
That was a great answer.
Yeah, no, it's a fair answer. You're allowed to answer. It doesn't have to...
I can't answer no.
Not every answer has to be I
always thought it did.
No.
Oh.
If someone asks you a question, you just go, no, and then that's it.
What?
Yeah. Do you have a lucky chin? Favorite scene? You travel so much. We know your favorite movie is The Mask. It says at Ancestra Clone. Favorite plane ticket character? Oh, no. You have a dream. What's your favorite childhood memory? It's a little personal.
Ooh. Being born.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Every second. I don't remember anything else.
Everything
that
after
moment.
that, just that moment. That's the only thing you retained. Well, we answered your question. Space button on Instagram.
Oh, space button, not
space button.
Space button,
space
but
button,
the space button.
Could be. Well, this is more of a space bar, so maybe it is what you think. Yeah.
Super cute.
Or what if that person just thinks bars are buttons and has no ideas?
She's like a button board, not
a
keyboard.
Board.
Yeah.
Got a bar up my shirt. No, those are buttons. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, space button.
Space button. I just want to make sure that everyone feels like they got from a single one most important lesson. You've answered all these. I don't think you want to. Also space button.
Oh.
Space button. What's the grossest thing you've seen on set?
Dude.
No way.
Just became a 12-year-old surfer boy.
Yeah, that's fine.
The leaky head. So Dr. Leaky had his head cut off some season, and then we buried it, and then we had to dig it up, and so it was rotten. It was rotten. And it was so real and so gross, I actually didn't want to be in a scene with it. And I normally am like, yay, I like stuff like this that makes me feel things. Didn't want to feel that.
Well, I think you kind of answered that one, too. Do we have any more audience questions? Any more audience questions? Or did you guys get all your... Do you have one? You have one? Would you like to ask your question?
Sure.
Get on up here and ask your question.
Come on down.
So I'm Jennifer. I'm from North Hills.
From where?
North Hills, here
nice.
in LA. So my question is, if you were the Hogwarts sorting hat, how would you sort Sarah, Cosima, Helena, and Allison?
Oh, great question.
Well, first of all, what would you be sorted in, Tatiana?
Gryffindor.
All right. It's not. I mean,
No,
whatever.
I'd be Hufflepuff for sure.
Oh,
I
you'd be
think.
Hufflepuff?
Yeah.
But P.S. Just because Harry Potter was in it does not make Gryffindor the best house.
No.
Ravenclaw's the best house, but it's fine.
Fair enough. Ravenclaw's the smart ones.
They're the nerds.
They're the nerdlingers.
Yeah, they're the nerds.
So Cosima would be a Ravenclaw. Allison would be maybe a Slytherin, but like a good. She's like, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's
Yeah.
okay. Helena would be what would she be? Huh? Hufflepuff.
You think she'd be a Hufflepuff?
She looks like a Hufflepuff. Sarah would be Gryffindor.
Sarah would be Gryffindor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I know. Who
do
are
you
my other
agree with
characters?
this? With this
What do
sort?
you think?
I was going to say Sarah and Hufflepuff.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
How dare you disagree? Let's see. What do I have that's special for you? I can either give you one of these, or you know what? I'll give you this. I'll give you this Cosima badge, which is.
That audience reaction was
A badge, you say?
a lanyard.
With a lanyard on it. I think we're all done. We pretty much, if you guys are all good, you got everything answered you were curious about, or you have a question?
Yeah.
Because you have a mic in your hand. I'm not gonna let that go. You have to come up and ask your question. What is your name?
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
Hey, Caitlin.
I'm from Oak Hills, and my question is, out of the 3 scenes, which was the most fun to film? Jennifer's autopsy, removing Seth's brain, or removing the face worm from Leaky's cheek?
Oh, great call. Jennifer, the autopsy really freaked me out. That was the other one that was like, I don't actually want to be in this room, because that looked just like me. Like, it was so real, and it kind of had a weird weight to it. I felt sick through that whole scene. And then the other ones, the leaky, all of these ones made me feel gaggy. Because that one had like that pus plop that happened. That was like very phallic. It was so gross. And what was the other one?
Removing Seth's brain.
You mean Helena?
No. When Cosima took out Seth's brain in Felix's bathtub.
Oh, yeah.
You should watch Orphan Black. It's a really good show. I think you'd really like it.
Sounds gross.
No, it's really good.
I don't know.
I think give it a shot.
Not my thing.
Be open to new things.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, great.
That one was fun. That one was fun too. That one was very early in the season, so I don't think Jordan and I had a lot of scenes before that. So that was fun.
You know, I have a very special thing for you. Is a signed Scorpion. Here you go. You're very welcome. So. You've been an amazing guest, and this one's not signed. This one's not signed. No tats.
That was a dud.
Dud. Stupid.
Get rid of it.
Not even. It's not. What is? No, it's worth nothing.
Yeah.
As we're wrapping this out, I like to sort of find out like what motivates people, and is there some piece of advice or some motto or some mantra that you live by, or something that you keep in your head when you're anxious or you get down? Like, what's a guiding principle that you keep with you?
I've recently really just, because I feel like embarrassment is a huge thing that I deal with in my job and just in life. But I think Stephen Colbert was talking about like always being on the verge of humiliation.
Yeah.
And I think we're all embarrassed a lot of the time, or we all feel quite vulnerable. So just kind of reminding myself that we're all afraid.
Yeah.
And that it's okay to be afraid, and that fear will always, like right now I'm terrified to say this, my throat's like, I'm going to make you cry. But like that fear is always there, and that's not a bad thing, and to kind of embrace fear and use it is sort of what my mantra is.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you because pretty much almost everything I've worked on, you have agreed to be a guest on the podcast and the Nerdist BBC show and this one, and you're always an incredible guest. And I'm so excited for you, and I'm excited to see where you go from here. So Tatiana Maslany has been talking with me. Give her a huge hand. Season 5 of Orphan Black is on BBC America, and Stronger will be out in theaters September 20th. Standing ovation! This is the first standing ovation anyone's gotten on the show. I'm serious. Yes. Here, here. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Stronger is in theaters September 22nd. Check out @Talking on Facebook and Instagram and on Twitter. Find out who's going to be on the show and how you can be a part of it. We couldn't do it without you. I'm Chris Hardwick @Hardwick on the tweets and Instagrams. Don't text and drive, guys. All right, bye-bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com. Enjoy your burrito.